Hello, in this quick video I'm going to show you how your stitch markers can help you when you work in your ribbon rows. So when you work in your ribbon rows, it's sometimes a bit difficult to see the difference between the slip stitches which go in to join your ribbing to the bottom of your jumper. So you might have to just keep counting, or alternatively you can use stitch markers. So if you put a stitch marker into the very last stitch you just made in this rib, and then you're going to join with the 2 slip stitches, so slip stitch once, slip stitch twice to the bottom, and as you turn your work around now you can see that you have these slip stitches, but you don't want to work into these, but they look like they could be worked into, they look like standard stitches, and that's when it gets a bit confusing. But it's where your stitch marker is where you want to go back into your back loop. So let's just go into that stitch there, make your first back loop single crochet there, and as you now take your stitch marker and move it into that stitch you just made, you know, again, when you come back towards the bottom edge, you know where your last stitch will need to go. So it's a lot easier, you don't have to keep counting and making sure that you have the same amount of stitches. You can just keep moving that stitch marker up and down as you work. So we've done the back loop single crochets, and now we're going through the full stitch for the final one. Turn your work again, going into the first one as a full single crochet, and then working into the back loops for the rest of these single crochet stitches. And like I said, now you don't have to worry about counting too much, because I tend to count a lot, but if you have a longer rib it can get a little bit annoying. So having that stitch marker there is just a good way to know that you left it in your first stitch. So that means that when you get back to that marker, it is your last stitch, and your final stitch will need to go where your stitch marker is. So just make sure your stitch marker is not in your way when you're working into it. Take it out and then move it into that last stitch. So you will see, once you've joined with your slip stitches and you turn your work around, you can see your space where you need to work a lot easier. Again, after you have done your first stitch, this is when we want to take your marker and put it into that stitch, not before. Hope you found this little tutorial useful. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.